Gents, you see this amazing lady? She runs a hydroponic farm on top of a building in Sandton, South Africa. So, in a quest of trying to look for people who are doing positive changes in society, I met Zandile Kumalo. She is the CEO and founder of Neighborhoods Foundation that she started with a co-partner Kaelo Moroke. So what makes more this hydroponic farm unique is that these guys, they do not need transport to deliver their goods. They just take their produce down to the supermarket and the restaurants that are underneath the building because the farm is located on top of a building. So let's hear their success story and be inspired. And don't forget to subscribe.
Good day, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome back to another episode where we'll tell you the untold stories of people who are doing positive changes in the society. So, Zandi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I just came here and I see all these amazing plants. So tell me, how did you start this business and how did you come with an idea that I want to plant this plant and everything?
Okay, how everything started, it started back when I used to volunteer at a farm. And but when I started volunteering at this farm, the issue was that there was a lack of youngsters within the agricultural industry. And because I was a young person at that time, and my business partner also is young, the one that I got into at that time, but at that time he was a director, so he was my boss basically. Okay. And I used to ask him to say, what can we do to actually get youngsters enticed into this farming industry, get them to be involved, get them to stay longer, because farming at first is conventional before we knew what hydroponic is. And them being able to understand that hail can come and wipe out all your crops, it seems derailing for them. So they didn't want anything that would be able to make them feel like they're working backwards. So then they would leave farming at all, and therefore we'll be left with only senior citizens. And therefore I said to him, if we could come together as youngsters and come up with a very vibrant idea, an idea that will be able to allow youngsters to see how technology is moving into the industry, because I'm an analytical chemist and you're an IT specialist. So we are all about technology, but we are so intrigued about food and wanting to feed people the food that we think will be good for them. So let us live those passions and those dreams. And therefore we went around looking for partnerships. We started our first partnership with Vaal University of Technology, and that we were able then to show students to say that even if you have a background of whatever course that you have done, actually agriculture can be something you can squeeze yourself into, because then there is a little bit of everything in the agricultural industry. And it worked well, and I think we were with them for about 5 years. Then therefore we then started looking for other partnerships around. Then we started thinking that if we are able to go into the shopping centers, things might go well. And then what happened is that in 2020, economy started shifting, and therefore we needed to bring food closer to the market. And then we started then looking for shopping centers to actually start building here. So we partnered with Flanagan and Jarrett here at Morningside Shopping Center, and we were able to build this one. And we are continuing to partner with other shopping centers. Like lately last year, we partnered with Growth Point. We have another farm in River Square Shopping Center.
Also, we have another farm also like this.
Yes, we have another hydroponic. It's not exactly like this. What we also try to do with our farms, we try to bring them different, to show different types of technologies. So in the River Square farm, we don't have any steel. We have everything on the ground. We use a trough system. And therefore we're trying to show students that it's not about steel and profiles and all this that makes hydroponic farming. It's all these technologies combined together. And that's an innovative technology that is done by a young person also.
Now I get you. So I just want you to tell me that what's the advantage of having a greenhouse like this and also planting in a space like a short space like this using hydroponic?
So if you could look, South Africa's got unpredictable climate weather patterns. Whereas this year we had late rains and they were much more heavier than all the other years. So imagine if someone was outside and not having any cover, but planting fragile crops like what we have, like your lettuce, your cucumbers and everything. And then when rain starts coming, it's either you have fungal diseases, it's either your crops will be all gone. So having these type of shelters or greenhouses, it helps you to protect your crops. It helps you to be able to farm all year round, and that's why we went into hydroponics. Like I said, we wanted to be able to beat unpredictable weather and still farm in these climate conditions that are keep coming around in our country, and this was the only option that we were able to find.
I get you. So I just want to find out which crops do you farm here in at this place, at this facility?
So we, in Morningside Shopping Center, we specialize with different types of salad lettuce. So from your red and your green Philly lettuce, we've got your red oak and your green oak, and also your butter lettuce. And then we sell them off as living heads to our clients in our restaurant. So the other type of products that we have is baby spinach. So we do have baby spinach that we grow into our grow boxes, and we germinate straight from the grow boxes. We've got spring onion also that we also do. We've got microgreens, and because of the season changes, we're now starting to incorporate your normal big spinach, which is a Swiss chard or your Ford hook giant, some people might call it, so that then we can start incorporating also the tenants instead of only the restaurants that we have in the shopping center.
I get you. When we started this conversation, there's something that I've liked, that you were volunteering somewhere.
Yes.
That means you had to go there to get knowledge so that we can start something of your own. Because what I've seen, and also the research that I've done, I've seen a lot of young people, they're excited to do farming, but they are venturing into farming, different types of farming without adequate knowledge. So what do you say about young people who want to venture into farming, whether a setup like this or any just type of farming?
I actually like that question a lot, because most youngsters think that farming is a plug and play, or it's something that you can do and for fun, for a hobby, and they never think about it as a business. When you start thinking about it having to be a business, you need to be having adequate knowledge as to how are you able to turn that into a business. Because trust me, everybody can plant. You can put a seed into the ground. But turning that into a business is a whole lot of another journey to go through. So what we have done as youngsters, we also try to keep learning ourselves, keep teaching ourselves about this. We started volunteering because I wanted to know actually, how do you farm? How can we be able to turn our backyard, because we started on a 2,000 square meter backyard. So we wanted to understand that how can we be able to turn our backyard into a farm and a business, and how can we be able to allow youngsters to be able to get jobs out of what we're creating. So that's what we were trying to do. So by that, you need to learn ahead. You need to ask the people who are ahead of you, people who have done it before. Again, it helps you not to repeat the mistakes that they have done. And it helps you to understand much more better the challenges that you're going to be able to meet. So that's what we did. So I believe in volunteerism and being able to be mentored by a person who understands what's happening, and also being able to educate yourself into it, because of being able to do business and being able to do farming are two different things. So you need to be able to equip yourself in how to do business and how to be able to farm. Those are two technical things that you need as a farmer.
I've learned what you have said. There's one aspect of farming. You need to know farming. There's also a business side of it, because there are two things. I've seen also farmers. You might have a big yield, but you do not have market. So you also need to learn how to market your products. I think you are heading towards the right direction. Probably you're on the right direction already, so I'm happy to meet you. So just tell me, how big is this space and how much yield can you get in this space, whether these plants that you're planting?
Okay, in our farm, we've got here at Morningside Shopping Center, we've got a 300 square meter greenhouse. So we've got a little bit of pockets of different things. So if you look at baby spinach on its own, we are taking out about 4 kgs to 8 kgs on a weekly basis. And then on the lettuce itself, we're taking about 5 kgs of lettuce on a weekly basis. And then on spring onion, that's the only section that we harvest in a bulk, because the market is quite different. We then harvest about 20 boxes to about 40 boxes on a weekly basis. So it all depends on our market. Our market is quite different. because here in the shopping center, our market is straight into the shopping
Into the
center.
shopping,
It's
yeah,
all
I
the
get you.
restaurants that are
I
in the
get
shopping
you.
center.
So that means you're supplying also all the restaurants that are here
Yes.
and everyone. That's
Yes,
good.
most
That's good.
definitely. So that's
good.
the model for Morningside
That's
Shopping
good.
Center. You
That's
farm on
good.
top, you deliver
You
under,
deliver under.
zero emissions,
Yeah.
zero being able to be
Transport
eco-friendly.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I get you. Now I get
Yes.
you.
So we are eco-friendly with the farm that we have here at Morningside. And then if you look at the River Square Shopping Center, we only do monocropping there. So we only have spring onion that we supply to one pack house. Because that pack house was struggling so much to be able to have products of spring onion. So we decided that we will be able to take care of that line for them. So then we are their supplier. So, but then we try to keep them to be 10 kilometers away from the farm because our aim is still bring food closer to the market.
Yeah, also fresh food, you see.
Yes, it keeps
no,
it fresh.
No, I get you. The next question I'm going to take you to is how costly is to build a setup like this?
Oh.
Because I can tell you there's someone who has money out there but doesn't know what to do with the money. But probably he wants to just start something like this, but he just wants to know the figures and whatnot. I don't know if you are comfortable to talk about it.
I'll put it in a simpler manner. Hydroponics, yes, it's true. It is a very, very high capital intake for you to actually start a hydroponic farm. What Kaelo has done, with our MPO, we are trying to find a way that we can be able to bring more innovative ways for us to be able to reduce the cost of people to farm hydroponically. So that's why we intake different types of hydroponic systems and test it out for them so that manufacturers can understand from the expenses and stuff. It is quite expensive. The Morningside Shopping Center farm has costed us about close to 1.2 million to actually just set up, plus the operational cost, everything included in there. That's a very high cost for someone who doesn't have anything and want to start farming. So how we normally do it when we've got youngsters between the ages of 18 to 29 that we train and we upskill, and what we tell them is that we would like for you to understand that hydroponics is what you can get to in the future. So let us all start with conventional farming and make your money doing conventional farming and therefore build yourself in a linear way where you build one greenhouse at a time and be able to put one system at a time.
I get you.
People who want to just dabble into it, I would say to them, if you've got a backyard and you can be able to afford a small hydroponic system, test it out that way, because the loss in hydroponic systems is very big if you do not know or understand what you're doing. You can actually have a bigger loss and don't want to do it anymore. So to avoid such things happening, I tell them just buy a small system, try it out on the side. But if you really want to become a farmer and be able to farm and be able to start selling, start conventionally and move linearly into hydroponics. It's what me and Kaelo did. We started on the ground and here we are on the roofs.
So I'm glad with what you have said, but I want to take you back again, because there's someone probably who might not have understood the difference between hydroponic on a greenhouse and also conventional farming. So I just want you to give me the advantages of farming in a setup like this, and also the advantages and disadvantages also of conventional farming. Okay.
So if you're farming in hydroponic farming, you have to farm undercover. You have to. Okay, sorry. Oh, you have to farm. So when you're farming using hydroponic systems, you have to farm undercover. You have to be able to use hydroponic system to actually farm in that way. That gives you an advantage of understanding or having 100% of your yielding output, because it gives you about 95% of your yield output. You can be able to have precision into farming and also compact your plants per square meter. So if you look at open field farming, spacing is important, and also the conservation of your soil, or being able to protect your soil so that you can farm for 10 years and 5 years to come, is important. In hydroponics, we don't use soil. We use a grow medium. It comes in it doesn't have any nutrients in it, and therefore after 3 years you have to change it. So with conventional farm, you can't change the ground. So you have to make sure that you protect it. You have to make sure that you plant carefully with it and maintain. So you have to do crop rotations. You have to make sure you listen the type of things that you put into the ground, and you have to understand it much more better compared to hydroponic farming. So with us, we farm the same crop all year round, the same space, and everything like that. So that's the difference between the two. And also the yielding, when you look at open field farming, it's quite different. So if I am to compare for lettuce, in the open field farming, you can put about 4 to 8 plants per square meter.
Okay.
With us in hydroponics, depending on your system, you can put about 9 to 18 plants per square meter.
Okay.
So that's more yielding, and that's
Okay.
less yielding.
Okay.
But the greatest thing is that it's got more lessons if you are to do it much more properly. Okay. So where I'm at this current moment, it's called the grow medium bed system. Reason why it's called the grow medium bed system is because it's a box that is full of the grow medium. So the type of grow medium that we use in our farms is called the cocoa. So cocoa is more porous compared to cocoa peat, and it has more fibers inside. We use it to be able to grow our own baby spinach. You can also use it to grow your own herbs or any plant that needs to be compacted. The greatest thing about this type of a system is that you can be able to grow your own bulky vegetables like your onions, your beetroot, and your carrots. Any vegetables that needs to go underneath the cocoa, you can be able to grow into it.
Okay.
So this is our spring onion. This is where the whole section where we plant our own spring onion for the market that we have. So this is the same system. It's an NFT system. On this system, the advantages and disadvantages of it compared to the the advantages and disadvantages of it compared to the grow media bed system. This systems want you to have 100% electricity. Without any electricity or any backup like a solar or a generator, you might have a problem, because if then your pump is switched off, you have only about 15 minutes to start irrigating it. The system is a 24/7 system. You cannot put it on a timer. That's why it's quite expensive to have this type of a system compared to a grow media bed system. And then you can be able to plant small rooted crops. Here we're planting our spring onion here.
Okay, thank you. So after the discussion that we had, I want to be honest with you, I'm really inspired. The reason why I'm inspired is in Africa, agriculture is our backbone. And because of technology, you manage to use technology, because right now you can plant so many plants in a very short space. And the advantage of you is you are doing it on top of a roof, and already your market is down there. You don't need transport to take your produce from A to B. That means you transport your things under 500 meters and they're still fresh. So I want to be honest, I'm really inspired, because the purpose of the show is to inspire someone out there who wants to start something. They do not have knowledge. I know to start a setup like this, it might be expensive, but there's someone who says, I want to do this. They don't have money, but he now knows, or they now know that this is where I want to go, but I have to go and seek knowledge, because at the end of the day, you might want to do something, but what's more important is to acquire knowledge from someone who's doing it practically, gain your experience, go and start something of your own. And something that I've learned also is, like what you have said, this is expensive to start, but you can start with what? With conventional farming. Start from there, gain experience, and move to the next stage. So I was talking to Kaelo that a few weeks ago we went to Soweto and we did an interview to a young entrepreneur. He's manufacturing candles. I think I told you about it. What I liked about what he said is he's a psychologist by profession. So because of jobs are scarce right now, we just have to do what you have to do, but logically. He went to a company that manufactures candles. He learned the skill. After a few months, he resigned, then started something of his own. But I told him, how much to start a setup like yours? He said, it's quite costly, but he had 2,000 and he had to go and buy it from people who are manufacturing candles and resell them. So he created a clientele base. After creating a clientele base, he had so much orders, and he managed to buy machinery to do his business. I can tell you that young person is very young, he's pushing, and to him and you, there's no difference, and you're also your partner, because right now as we look in Africa, we have a problem of drugs. Where we are coming from, so many things are happening. So if we have a show like this, it inspires someone out there that, you know what, what I'm doing, it might not be right. Why don't if I follow this channel and start something? So I want to be honest with you, I'm really inspired with what you are doing, and it's so inspiring. And I hope that someone who's watching this show, they can learn something. You might not learn all, but take something from there, start something of your own. So just tell me, how do you see yourself in the next coming future?
How I see myself, or how I see the business and my team growing, it's in different ways. So we've got different kind of legs that we're trying to run parallel. The first one is through our NPO. In our NPO, we are hoping that we can upskill even more youngsters in our NPO. Already thus far, we have upskilled 30 young individuals through sponsorships, through NGOs and other NPOs that we've done collaboration with. We have been upskilling women and male. It's not only women, so we have been mixing up people who don't know about agriculture, people who know about agriculture. So we have a mixture of vibrant youngsters that we're trying to allow them to go back into their townships to spread out the footprint of the farming, of hydroponics farming. So that's one leg that we're doing, and our NPO is called Neighbor Roots Foundation. So that's the one leg that we're trying to do, and we're trying to see that we can be able to enhance it further. On that, we're also trying to now take it a little bit notch back, where we're going to create school programs and be able to allow youngsters to be able to learn within these industries and have this type of farming, or some hydroponic farming, or some kind of farming in the schoolyard, where kids can be involved and start learning how then STEM can actually enhance them in their teaching learning. So when we look at the business side itself, we are hoping that we can be able to intake more other rooftops, because this is a good initiative. This is one of the greatest initiatives that we have in our country, and we're hoping that we can be able to grow in it, because if we can be able to put it in communities, then youngsters can be able to be closer to the farms, and actually learning is closer, food is closer. People can actually really taste what a lettuce tastes like. People can actually taste what a tomato tastes like. I was once with this old lady and was telling me, I cannot believe that a tomato that I've taken from a farm and just eaten it now. It's quite different from anything that I've ever tasted before. And those are the type of memories we want to bring to people in their communities, that they must enjoy their food and enjoy them with a good memory and a good health also included into it. So we're hoping that we can grow. We're also looking for farmlands that we can be able to lease out, or we can be able to source out and buy, so that we can be able now to spread it out and be able to start supplying more our vegetables in bulk.
That's good. You know what, this conversation is getting interesting right now. There's something that I just want to talk about. I normally don't get a chance to talk about it. In primary, I feel like agriculture, painting, maybe plumbing, those type of trades, I feel like they must be introduced at an earlier stage, because right now in Africa, there's some of the things that we focus on, and people end up trying to measure when they grow up. So if they start a little bit earlier, for example, if you had started agriculture in primary, right now probably you would be on a different stage. So what do you think about introducing this type of trades or activities or subjects in primary?
Fidel, I like the way you phrased it, to say that if I had started it earlier, I would have been in a different angle. And that's what we keep reminiscing about when we sat down as a team and said, if only I had started when I was 16, if only I had started when I was 12. That's one thing that one person speaks about when they do what they love and what they're passionate about. And it is true, somebody would have been further than the point that they're in at this current moment. And that's why we're introducing it into schools, so that kids can actually learn about it. Actually, we've even got 2 smart gardens that we have done in 2 ECDs in Alexander. We're hoping that could be instilled, and we're still piloting it to see how then those kids will be able to grow with the knowledge of agriculture, with the knowledge of knowing that their hands have a skill to actually produce vegetables.
Wow. So thank you for giving me your time to explain about your business and your partner's business as well. So like I've said earlier, I hope someone is going to learn something and something. So guys, watch the show, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.